Alright. Let's be honest for a second. We love talking about our goals. Right? It feels so good to say, I'm starting this new thing, or big plans are coming. But what if I told you that all that talking could be the reason you never actually achieve them? Yeah. I said it. Talking about your goals might be the one thing secretly hurting your success. And today, I'm going to tell you why. Let's be honest. We love talking about our goals. Right? It feels so good to say, I'm starting this new thing, or big plans are coming. But what if I told you that all that talking could be the reason you never actually achieve them? Yeah. I said it. Talking about your goals might be the one thing secretly hurting your success. Today, I'm going to share ways it's happening. Things you've probably never even thought about. Some of this will probably be hard for you to hear. Trust me. It's the wake-up call we all need. Let's dive in. 1. You invite unnecessary pressure. Ever noticed how the moment you tell someone your big, shiny goal, they suddenly become your personal accountability coach? It's like, oh, you're starting a business. Cool. When are you launching? How much are you making? Do you have a backup plan? Chill. Lisa. I haven't even picked a logo yet. Here's the problem: the second you share your goals, you put yourself on stage. Now, people are watching, waiting, and, let's be honest, judging. And it's not just your close friends and family. Nope. It's your coworker from 3 jobs ago. Your cousin, who always has something to say. That guy from high school who thinks he's Elon Musk. Suddenly, it feels less like your dream and more like a public performance where you can't mess up. But here's the kicker: most of these people don't actually care about your success. They care about the drama. Will you succeed? Will you fail? Either way, they'll have something to gossip about. It's brutal. Right? But that's the world we live in. It's like announcing you're on a diet at a family barbecue. Suddenly, Uncle Bob's like, oh, you're not having a burger. Thought you were serious about your health. Your mom, she's over there waving cheesecake in your face, saying, just one bite won't hurt. People love to test your boundaries. It's a weird human instinct. And goals, they're like blood in the water for these sharks. Let me tell you a story. A couple of years ago, I told everyone I was starting a podcast. I was excited. I bought the equipment, picked a name, even made some cover art. But here's what happened: every time I ran into someone, they'd ask, how's the podcast going? At first, it felt good to talk about it. Then the pressure hit. I hadn't even recorded my first episode. I already felt like I was failing. I started avoiding people, because I didn't want to answer their questions. I stopped the podcast. I didn't want to do it. I couldn't handle all the attention. I learned that not all pressure is good pressure. There's a difference between holding yourself accountable. It's like being under a microscope, feeling like you have to perform. The first motivates you. The second overwhelms you. Your goals are yours. They don't need to be a spectacle. Keep them private. Protect them. Work on them in peace. When you stop inviting unnecessary pressure, you create the freedom to fail. Adjust. Move forward. Don't worry about what other people think. That's when things get interesting. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the pressure to share your goals? Or do you prefer to keep things private? Share your thoughts below and let's discuss, but maybe not too much. Okay. Let me explain. You fear public failure. Let me paint a picture. You tell everyone you're going to run a marathon. People are impressed. They clap. Some are even a little jealous. But then the day comes. You realize you haven't trained nearly enough. What do? Show up and risk collapsing at mile 6. Quietly back out and hope nobody notices. Spoiler, either way. It's a lose-lose. Here's the uncomfortable truth: when you share your goals with the world, you're no longer chasing them for yourself. You're chasing them to protect your reputation. The fear of public failure turns your dream into a high-risk endeavor. Do you care about the T? Will you crush it? Will you crash and burn? Either way, they'll have something to gossip about. Brutal. Right. That's the world we live in. It's like announcing you're on a diet at a family barbecue. Suddenly, Uncle Bob's like, "Oh, you're not having a burger. Thought you were serious about your health." Stakes. Performance. It's no longer about growth or passion. It's about avoiding humiliation. Worse, this fear can become paralyzing. Instead of taking bold steps forward, you freeze. You don't want to take risks because if you fail, people will see it. Let's be real. Some people are just waiting for you to mess up. They won't say it to your face. It's like announcing you're on a diet at a family barbecue. Suddenly, your uncle says, "Oh, you're not having a burger. Thought you were serious about your health." But in their heads, they're thinking, "We knew it wouldn't last." It's like being at karaoke night and announcing you're going to sing Bohemian Rhapsody. Everyone's excited, cheering you on. But then the music starts. You realize you don't actually know the lyrics past the "mama" part. What do? Wing it, walk away. Either way, you're the person who failed Freddie Mercury. Awkward. Right? Goals can feel the same once you've hyped them up. The pressure to deliver is unreal. I've been there. A few years ago, I told everyone I was going to launch an online course. Big deal. Right? I was so excited and so scared that I spent more time worrying about what people would think if it flopped. Does it matter if you care about the T? Will you crush it? Will you crash and burn? Either way, they'll have something to gossip about. Brutal. Right. That's the world we live in. It's like announcing you're on a diet at a family barbecue. Suddenly, Uncle Bob's like, "Oh, you're not having a burger. I thought you were serious about your health." Then actually building the course. Every time I sat down to work on it, my brain would scream. What if it's not good enough? What if no one buys it? Eventually, I talked myself out of launching altogether. Not because I didn't have the skills. Because I was so scared of failing publicly. You know what? Looking back, that fear was 100% self. Does it matter? Will you destroy it? Will you fail miserably? Either way, people will have something to gossip about. That's harsh. I know. That's the world we live in. It's like announcing you're on a diet at a family barbecue. Suddenly, Uncle Bob's like, "Oh, you're not having a burger. I thought you were serious about your health. You're making an effort." Nobody cared as much as I thought they did. The fear of public failure is like quicksand. It can pull you in and hold you back. Here's the thing, failure isn't the problem. Failing in private is how you learn, grow, adjust. Failing in public is what feels unbearable. The truth is that most people aren't watching you as closely as you think. The ones who are watching you are either rooting for you or projecting their own insecurities. Stop letting the imagine an imaginary audience in your mind. Let it dictate your moves. Remember, your goals don't need an audience, they need effort. If you do fail, do it privately. Proudly. Move forward. Every stumble is a step closer to success. Just don't let fear keep you from taking that first step. So, what's scarier to you? Failing privately or failing publicly? Have you ever let the fear of an audience stop you from chasing a goal? Let me know in the comments. I promise no judgment. You lose credibility when you don't deliver. Alright. We all know that one person. Right. The one who says they're going to do something big. Never actually does it. First they're starting a business. Then they're writing a book. Then they're opening a llama farm. A year later. Nothing. They're still talking. But people stop listening. You don't want to be that person, trust me. Here's the harsh reality: every time you share a goal and don't achieve it, you lose credibility. People stop believing in you. Worse, you start to stop believing in yourself. And look, this isn't about being perfect or achieving everything on your to nobody's listening anymore. You don't want to be that person. Trust me. Here's the harsh reality: every time you share a goal and don't achieve it, you lose credibility. People stop believing in you. Worse, you start to stop believing in yourself. Look, this isn't about being perfect or achieving everything on your to-do list. It's about the pattern: when you make big promises and repeatedly fail to back them up, people start to see you as all talk, no action. That reputation can follow you professionally and personally everywhere. It's harsh. That's how the world works. It's kind of like when someone announces they're going to quit social media. They post an emotional goodbye. Everyone thinks they're so brave. But 3 days later, they're back to posting cat memes. It's funny the first time. After the third time, you just roll your eyes. Sure, Karen. See you tomorrow. Goals work the same way. People need to see action, not announcements. Here's a story for you. A few years ago, I told all my friends I was going to learn the guitar. I was excited. I bought a new acoustic guitar and signed up for lessons. I didn't practice. Months later, people asked me about the guitar. I said I was too busy. Eventually, I stopped mentioning it altogether. I felt embarrassed because I realized that by sharing too much, I'd put myself in a position where not delivering made me look unreliable. Not just to others, to myself. And here's the kicker: that feeling started creeping into other areas of my life. I began doubting whether I could commit to anything. Even projects I cared about. It was a wake-up call. If you make a promise and don't keep it, people will start to see you as someone who says one thing but does another. This can hurt your reputation in your job or personal life. It's hard. That's how the world works. It's like when someone says they're going to stop using social media. Then they don't. Every time you don't keep a promise, you're losing credibility with others and hurting your own self-esteem. Trust. Here's the thing: confidence doesn't come from external applause. It comes from keeping the promises you make to yourself. The more you talk without action, the more you train yourself to associate big dreams with empty words. But when you stay quiet and deliver results, you start to rebuild trust with others and with yourself. That trust is priceless. It's the foundation of everything. So here's the takeaway: don't announce, prove. Silence doesn't mean you're not working. It means you're protecting your process. Focus on the follow-do list. It's about the pattern. When you make big promises and don't keep them, people start to see you as all talk, no action. That reputation can follow you professionally and personally everywhere. It's harsh. That's how the world works. It's kind of like when someone announces they're going to quit social media without fanfare. When you do deliver, The applause will be louder than anything you could have asked for. Have you ever announced a goal and felt the sting of not following through? How did it affect the way people saw you? How you saw yourself? Drop your thoughts below. Let's keep it real. Remember, actions always speak louder than words. Unsolicited opinions can derail you. Have you ever shared a goal with someone and immediately regretted it? You're all excited to tell them about your big plans. Then they hit you with a bucket of cold water. Are you sure that's a good idea? Worse, I don't think that's really your thing, like. Thanks. Debbie Downer. But nobody asked for your career advice. Here's the truth, the moment you share your dreams, you're inviting a flood of opinions, most of which you never asked for. People will weigh in based on their own fears, insecurities, biases. Let's be honest, not all of them want to see you succeed. Some folks will straight up say it. They'll try to make you feel bad about yourself by pointing out their own failures. They'll say, I tried something like that once. It didn't work. As if your success is guaranteed to fail. Others will pretend to be concerned, saying things like, I don't want you to get hurt. But really they're just scared of your success. The worst part, it's about the pattern. When you make big promises and don't keep them, people start to see you as all talk, no action. That reputation can follow you in your job and personal life. It's harsh. That's how the world works. It's kind of like when someone announces they're going to quit social media. Even when their opinions are total nonsense, they can still make you doubt yourself. Before you know it, you're second-guessing yourself because of what they think. Why give them that power? It's like telling someone you're going to start a new diet. Suddenly they're a certified nutritionist. Oh. Keto. That's bad for your kidneys. Intermittent fasting. I heard it makes you faint. Meanwhile, others are eating a double cheeseburger. The unsolicited advice is top-tier irony. The same thing happens with your goals. Everyone becomes an expert, even if they've never taken a single step toward their own dreams. I remember when I told a friend I was thinking about that's bad for your kidneys. Intermittent fasting. I heard it makes you faint. Meanwhile, they're eating a double cheeseburger. The unsolicited advice is top-tier irony. The same thing happens with your goals. Everyone becomes an expert, even if they've never taken a single step toward their own dreams. I remember when I told a friend I was thinking about starting my own business. I was pumped. I'd been researching for months, making plans, saving money. Instead of cheering me on, they said, isn't that risky? Most small businesses fail. You know. That one comment stuck with me. It didn't matter that I'd done my homework or that I believed in my idea. All I could hear was, most businesses fail. It slowed me down for months. I kept changing everything, trying to prove I could avoid failure. Spoiler, I wasted so much time worrying about their fears instead of focusing on my vision. Looking back, I realized their doubt wasn't about me. It was about them. They couldn't imagine taking a risk like that. They tried to project their fear onto me. Lesson learned, not every opinion is worth listening to. Not every opinion is worth listening to. When you let unsolicited opinions derail you, you're giving away control of your life. You're letting other people's fears, insecurities, limitations dictate what you do with your dreams, and that's no way to live. Your goals are yours. Nobody else has the full context of your vision, your passion, your potential. Why let their opinions don't matter as much as you might think? Most people who doubt you aren't bad people. They're just dealing with their own issues. You don't have to deal with their issues. Instead, learn to filter. Take advice from people who've been where you want to go. Ignore the noise from everyone else. protect your dreams like they're sacred because they are. Their opinions are important. Most people who doubt you aren't bad people. They're just dealing with their own issues. You don't have to deal with their issues. Instead, learn to filter out the noise. Take advice from people who've been where you want to go. Ignore the noise from everyone else. Protect your dreams like they're sacred. They are. Remember, the only opinion that truly matters is the one you have of yourself when you look in the mirror. Have you ever let someone's unsolicited opinions shake your confidence? Maybe you've learned how to block out the noise. Let me know in the comments, because your opinion does matter in this conversation. You become addicted to the validation. You know that rush you get when you tell someone your big goal and they're like, "Wow. That's amazing. Feels good. Doesn't it?" But here's the catch, that little dopamine hit can be dangerously addictive. Before you know it, you're chasing the applause instead of the actual goal. And, spoiler, validation doesn't pay the bills. Let's be real, in today's world, we're all a little. People crave validation. Social media has taught us to crave likes, shares, comments. We sometimes mistake them for actual progress. It's the same with goals. When you tell someone about your plans and they hype you up, you start to feel accomplished, but that's not accomplishment. It's empty calories for your self-esteem. Esteem worse. This addiction to validation can keep you stuck. Why? If you've already gotten the praise, where's the urgency to follow through? It's like eating dessert before dinner. You've satisfied the craving. Now you've lost your appetite for the hard work. It's like saying, "Their opinions matter." The truth is, most people who doubt you aren't bad people. They're just dealing with their own issues. You don't have to deal with their issues. Instead, learn to filter. Take advice from people who've been where you want to go. Ignore the noise from everyone else. Protect your dreams like they're sacred. They are. I'm going to run a marathon. Your friends immediately start clapping like you've already crossed the finish line. Meanwhile, you're sitting on the couch. Netflix remote in one hand, Doritos in the other. Thinking, well, I'm kind of a legend. We love the applause. Guess what? Marathons don't. Their opinions matter. The truth is, most people who doubt you aren't bad people. They're just dealing with their own issues. You don't have to deal with their issues. Instead, learn to filter out the noise. Take advice from people who've been where you want to go. Ignore the noise from everyone else. Protect your dreams like they're sacred. They are. I learned this lesson the hard way a few years ago. I told everyone I was going to write a book. The responses were amazing. People were like, "You're so talented. I can't wait to read it." Let me tell you, I felt like an author already. The problem was that I got so wrapped up in the hype that I stopped focusing on the actual writing. Every time someone asked, "How's the book coming?" I'd give some vague answer like, "Oh, you know, just perfecting my outline." Translation: I hadn't written a single word in weeks. The validation felt so good that I started. Their opinions matter. You shouldn't let them distract you. Most people who doubt you aren't bad, they're just dealing with their own issues. You don't have to deal with their issues. Instead, learn from people who have been where you want to go. Ignore the noise. Protect your dreams. Eventually, I had to face the truth. I was addicted to the idea of being a writer. I wasn't putting in the work to become one. Ouch. Here's the truth, validation is a trap. It feels great in the moment. It's a hollow victory. The real fulfillment comes from doing the work quietly and consistently, without needing an audience. When you chase validation, you're giving away your power. You're letting other people's reactions dictate how you feel about yourself. When you chase results instead, you take that power back. You need the applause because you know deep down that you're doing the work. That's what matters. Don't let the applause distract you from the hard work, because at the end of the day, nobody remembers the person who talked about their goals, they remember the person who achieved them. Their opinions matter a lot. The truth is, most people who doubt you aren't bad people. They're just dealing with their own issues. You don't have to deal with their issues. Instead, learn to filter out the noise. Take advice from people who've been where you want to go. Ignore the noise from everyone else. Protect your dreams like they're sacred. They are. Have you ever fallen into the validation trap? Did it stop you from making progress? Did you find a way to push past it? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear how you've tackled this sneaky little roadblock. It opens you to envy. Let's talk about envy for a second. You announce your big goal. You think everyone is going to cheer for you. You're wrong. Instead, you catch those subtle eye rolls, the fake smiles, the passive-aggressive comments. Oh, good for you. Yeah. Not everyone is rooting for you. In fact, some people are not at all. Don't assume that everyone is rooting for you. Some people actually hope you fail. Here's the hard truth: not everyone is going to celebrate your ambition. When you share your goals, some people get uncomfortable. It's not because of what you're doing, because of what they're not doing. Your dreams remind them of the ones they gave up on. Instead of cheering you on, they start. They might even try to compete with you or secretly hope you fail, and it gets worse. Envy doesn't just stay in their heads. It seeps into your life. Suddenly, you're dealing with backhanded compliments like, "Wow, you're so brave for trying that." Or unsolicited advice that's really just veiled discouragement. Trust me. Envy is a toxic energy that you don't want anywhere near your goals. It's like when you tell someone you're cutting carbs and they try to convince you to eat them. That's not support, that's sabotage. Envy works the same way. Some people can't help but throw little hints. Envy is a toxic energy that can derail your goals. It's like when you tell someone you're cutting carbs. They try to convince you to eat some bread. That's not support, that's sabotage. Envy works the same way. Some people can't help but create obstacles for you because your success reminds them of their own failure. It's petty. It's real. Let me tell you a story. When I first started sharing my plans to build my side hustle, I was so excited. I thought my friends would be too. Instead of cheering me on, one of them said, "Don't you think the market is already oversaturated? What makes you different from everyone else?" At first, I laughed it off. Their words stuck with me. I started doubting myself. Was I really cut out for this? Looking back, I realized their comment had nothing to do with me and everything to do with their own insecurities. They weren't. There will be people who are jealous of your success. This can cause problems for you. Here's the truth: you can't control how other people feel about your success. But you can control how much access you give them to your journey. Protect your goals. Keep your dreams sacred. I'll tell you a story. When I first started sharing my plans to build my side hustle, I was so excited. I thought my friends would be too. Instead of cheering me on, one of them said, "Don't you think the market's upset about my goal?" They were upset about what it said about their lack of ambition. That moment taught me a big lesson: envy can derail you if you let it. Here's the thing, it's their issue. Not yours. Envy is sneaky. It disguises itself as concern, criticism, even advice. At its core, it's just someone else's. Don't you think the market's insecure about you, if you're not careful? Their envy can become a weight you carry, slowing you down and pulling you off track. Here's the truth, you can't control how others feel about your success. You can control how much access you give them to your journey. Protect your goals. Keep your dreams sacred. Hurdles in your path. Your success reminds them of their own inertia. It's petty. It's real. Let me tell you a story. When I first started sharing my plans to build my side hustle, I was so excited. I thought my friends would be too. Instead, one of them said, "Don't you think the markets? Share them only with people who genuinely want to see you win." When you filter out the envy, you create space for the support and positivity you truly deserve. Remember, their envy isn't your problem. Their stagnation isn't your burden. Stay focused. Stay quiet. Let your results do the talking. 7. Talking about your plans can ruin the mystery. Have you ever met someone who just quietly does well in life? No big announcements. No self-congratulatory social media posts. Then one day they casually drop, "Oh yeah, I just launched my own business." And you're like, "Wait. What? When did that happen?" That's the magic of mystery. It's powerful. It's intriguing. It's unforgettable. But when you talk too much about your goals, you ruin all of that, not just for others, for yourself too. Here's a truth that's going to sting a little. Talking too much about your goals makes you less impressive, not more. Why? When you lay all your plans out on the table, there's nothing left to surprise anyone with. And let's be honest, most people are more interested in what you've done than what you plan to do. Worse, it's not just about how others perceive you, it's about how you perceive yourself when you talk about your goals. Hurdles appear in your path because your success reminds them of their own lack of motivation. It's petty. It's real. Let me tell you a story. When I first started sharing my plans to build my side hustle, I was so excited. I thought my friends would be too. But instead of cheering me on, one of them said, "Don't you think the markets?" You get a hit of satisfaction, almost like you've already achieved them. Guess what? That can kill your drive. You lose the hunger to actually make it happen because in your mind, you've already celebrated the win. So no mystery. No momentum. No results. It's like watching a magic trick where the magician tells you exactly how it's done before they even perform it. Sure, you might clap politely. The wow factor is gone. Talking too much about your goals does the same thing that it takes something exciting and turns it into a spoiler. And who likes spoilers? Nobody. Unless you're one of those people who reads the last page of a book first. In that case, we need to talk. Let me share a story that a couple of years ago, I decided to run my first half marathon. I was so excited that I told everyone. My friends. My co-workers. Everyone. Hurdles in your path because your success reminds them of their own inertia. It's petty. It's real. Let me tell you a story. When I first started sharing my plans to build my side hustle, I was so excited. I thought my friends would be too. Instead of cheering me on, one of them said, "Don't you think the market's workers? My Instagram followers?" So on. And oh, the encouragement rolled in. People were like, "You're so inspiring. I could never do that. It felt amazing until it didn't. Because here's what happened: the more I talked about it, the less I actually trained. I had already soaked up all the validation without earning it. By race day, I was underprepared, overconfident. Let's just hurdles in your path. Your success reminds them of their own laziness. It's petty. It's real. Let me tell you a story. When I first started sharing my plans to build my side hustle, I was so excited. I thought my friends would be too. Instead of cheering me on, one of them said, "Don't you think the markets say it wasn't my best moment?" I realized that all the talking had tricked my brain into thinking I'd already achieved something great. In reality, I hadn't even put in the work yet. Here's the deeper truth. Mystery isn't just about keeping others guessing. It's about keeping your own fire alive. There's an undeniable power in holding your cards close and working quietly. Let your results speak for themselves. When you protect your process, you save the energy and focus you need to achieve your goals. Think about it. When you move in silence, you create a kind of internal suspense. You stay curious about what you're capable of and motivated to prove it. When you finally achieve your goal, the impact is so much greater. Not just because it surprises others, but let your results speak for themselves. When you protect your process, you save the energy and focus you need to achieve your goals. Think about it. When you move in silence, you create a kind of internal suspense. You stay curious about what you're capable of and motivated to prove it. When you finally achieve your goal, the impact is so much greater. Not just because it surprises others, because it surprises you. Stop spoiling the magic. Don't waste your energy talking about your plans to everyone. Use that energy to execute your plans. In the end, what's more satisfying? Getting applause for your plans or earning respect for your results? What's your take on this? Have you ever shared a goal and felt like the excitement disappeared the moment you talked about it? Have you kept something under wraps and felt? Stop sharing your plans with everyone. Don't waste your energy talking about your plans. Use that energy to achieve your goals. In the end, is it more satisfying to have people applaud your plans or to earn their respect? What's your take on this? Have you ever shared a goal and felt like the excitement disappeared the moment you talked about it? Or have you kept something secret and felt the power of moving in silence? Let's discuss in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences. Alright, fam. That's a wrap. Now, if you've been spilling your goals to everyone and their dog, don't stress. We've all been there. The good news is you can always start fresh. Keep those dreams close. Protect your energy and let your results do the talking. If this video gave you a light bulb moment or maybe a little guilt trip, share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me the point that resonated with you the most. If you're ready to dive deeper, hit the like button. Subscribe. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode. Remember, your journey is yours. Keep it sacred. Keep it real. And most importantly, keep going. Until next time. Stay focused. Stay inspired. I'll see you at the top.